Well, let's get things underway because Columbus Dons basketball coach Eric Wilson is joining us as our first guest this evening. Coach, thanks for coming by and welcome to our program tonight.
Appreciate having you, Gene and Larry. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the coverage throughout the year. So looking forward to a season and talking a little basketball with you guys.
And a lot of people know you as a former Marshfield Tiger basketball stand-up back in the 90s. You've been assisting in Columbus programs, other programs as well in recent years. Tell us about the background you bring now to the program at Columbus High School.
Sure. A little background on me, Gene, is obviously, I did play at Marshfield, but over the years I've coached quite a bit of different places. It really started for me coaching with Dave MacArthur up at Colby. That's where I really started coaching high school basketball. It was a really good friend of mine. It's also the connection that I have with Columbus, because that's where I met Coach Konitsky at Columbus. We became great friends because we were both great friends with Dave MacArthur. So that's kind of how that started. And I coached a lot of youth in between with daughter coming through the Marshfield system as well.
You know, they talk about coaching trees in sports. And Dave MacArthur certainly had a very extensive coaching tree. Many people influenced by his coaching style over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. I still I look back on this day, and every time November comes around, that's one of the days that I look back on, and I wonder what this would look like if he was still around. And he had a lot of influence on me. He had a lot of influence on a lot of people in my life, and so I think that's a big piece of it. I think you're right about that.
Well, let's talk about the early part of your season. What have you done as a new coach to prepare yourself for the Columbus girls basketball season this year?
One of the things that was a little easier for me is I've been with the Columbus program, I would say. I think the girls and boys we kind of meshed together a little bit. I've been with, Coach Konitsky for the last 6 years before this. So 7th year at Columbus, it's just I'm moving over to the girls' side. Had a great time with it so far. The girls have been amazing. They bought in. We had a great summer. Played a bunch of tournaments this summer. We played over in the Neilsville League for the summer. So we got a lot of stuff installed this summer as we went, and we were able to somewhat hit the ground running. Obviously, when you get into the season, it's a little bit different. The games are a little bit different from there. But overall, I couldn't be more pleased with the effort our girls have brought, and they bought in. And we've had we're in 4th week now already. It's hard to believe. And things are going fairly well. Obviously, we hit some bumps here and there, but that's expected. I mean, you don't go through a season without bumps. So we'll get through them and go from there.
What is it about coaching at Columbus High School that makes that so attractive?
For me, I believe in what we do there. The big thing, I believe in the school, and I believe in how we take care of athletes. And I'm not saying that we don't do it, people don't do it other places. I just really believe in what we do to help kids be better equipped to take on life as we go on. I think that's really where it fit. We did it at Colby too. It's just taken on a little bit of different dimension. And I'll say this, Coach Konitsky is a big part of it. He's a big part of why I'm there, for the reason that kids look up to him and they're friends for life. And I have those relationships on the boys' side. I've got kids from when we went and played in the state championship game. Jared Mendel's back in the school teaching and coaching. Kids like Noah Taylor, they still reach out, and kids like that. It's lifelong relationships that have been built. I think that's what's special about it.
Well, let's talk about your basketball team for this season. Fill us in on the start, how things look for the Columbus girls this year.
Sure, we're 4 games in. We started out, we played Rib Lake. As we went, we played Rib Lake on the first Tuesday possible, so we had a whole 7 days of practice beforehand. Really a tale of 2 halves in that game. And we went up 35-9 to start, and then they made a huge run on us, and we ended up winning by 3. I probably lost 10 years of my life that night, but it was a good experience for the girls as we went there. We played in the Cranberry Classic then over Thanksgiving. We lost a heartbreaker to Wyowega Fremont on Friday afternoon by 1, and then we beat Nakusa pretty handily from there. And then last night we got it taken to us a little bit by Auburndale. We competed. I'm really happy with how it competed. It showed we have to clean some things up. There's some things that we have to do a little bit better fundamentally, sound, and I think it was a great test to start the year because it focused us back up at practice tonight.
And tell us about some young ladies on your ball club this year, where they fit in for you.
Sure. I think the first 4 girls I'd like to talk about is our 4 seniors. I've got 4 seniors. I've got Maggie Callahan, who's a 4-year varsity performer for us, does all the things as a leader. Sam Casperson's played varsity for 3 years. She's a huge leader for us. She loves to be in the gym just as well as Maggie Callahan. And I got Courtney Summer, who is a great volleyball player, who's starting to learn how to use that on the basketball floor. and you're starting to see it. She probably played a little bit more of a background role the last couple of years on the basketball floor, but she's starting to be a leader for us. And I think you're going to see big things from her going forward. Then our fourth senior is Matea Schlafke. Could not be happier to have her out. She hasn't played in 2 years. I think the last year she played as a freshman. She's starting for us, and I don't know that I've seen a girl play harder than her. Gene, you saw our game last night, and she just plays hard all the time. And as she starts to pick up the little nuances of the game again, it's just going to get better from there. A couple other girls we got. I've got a freshman in Sophie Wilczek who's starting for me right now. She's going through some ups and downs, but pleasantly surprised. She's going to be a really good player for us for quite some time. Missing a girl right now that we can't wait to get back. Gracie Wilczek is obviously tore her knee up last February. I think we're getting close to her starting to be able to play at some time. I don't have a timetable exactly on that, but we miss her right now. She's a leader for this team, and I'd be happy to have her back. And then rounding out the varsity, we got 3 sophomores. I have Chase Blanker, who really fills in for Courtney and Matea down in the post. I've got Haley Hargraves, and then Caitlin Casperson, which is Sam's little sister, that come in and help us at the guard position. So that's our varsity team right now. Obviously, getting Gracie back right now will be a big boost for us.
Coach, can you talk about the role that Maggie fills on your ball club? Because she, as you mentioned, has started since her freshman year. And when a ball player is around that long, I think some fans think, well, you've been playing for 4 years. You're going to score 28 points per game and do a great job. And that's really not her game. She can score for you, but there's other aspects of her game in which she's very strong. Tell us about what the expectations are for her and what her role would be this year.
I think for Maggie, it's just understanding that she doesn't have to do everything. I think you're right. I think that role does get put on her. Maggie has become a very good shooter. And we're trying to make sure that she does other things on the floor. Maggie has bought into everything we've asked her to do. She's being more of a playmaker for us this year. She's understanding. I mean, she shot the ball at almost over a 50% clip for the first 3 games. She got marked last night from Auburndale. They weren't going to let her shoot the ball. So she's learned how to do some other things, and she's a really great leader for our younger kids. That's the biggest thing. She takes them under her wing, makes sure that they know how to take care of themselves after practice, what's to be expected on road trips, et cetera, like that. So she's just a really good leader for us.
Well, let's bring in Larry Hazer, has some questions and comments for you. Larry?
All right, Gene, you lost a couple of starters, Jenna Kibble and Haley Zimmerman, both averaging 10 points a game last year.
Sure.
How you been able to make up for that this year with the
I don't know that we've made up for it. I mean, for me, I wasn't with them last year, so I don't really know what missing them looks like. I think more of it, though, I'm feeling it with talking to kids. I think that they're having to understand that they've got an outtake for like Courtney Summer and Sam Casperson. They got to step up into a leadership role. They followed those 2 before. It's helping them get comfortable with that. I think so. As we go through that and do that, that's the part I think where we miss them. Obviously, I'd love to have the 2 of them back. They could score the ball. That's a huge help. But I think we're having a couple kids then step up and have to be more of a leader and help the younger kids. And they're starting to realize that, hey, when I'm the leading scorer, I get a little more attention now. I think that's the part of helping them through that piece.
Clarabelle Conference, you've got Neelsville predicted to be up there, and you guys are predicted to be right up there as well. How do you see that Clarabelle Conference this year?
I said this earlier. I did an interview with Gene a little earlier at the end of the year. The reality is Neelsville's top of the class. That it is, and Coach Geyer's done over there in their program. We played in their summer league. I think if you can learn to compete with Neelsville, you're going to be in a really good position, especially since they're D4 and a lot of us are D5. I think it's Neelsville and then the rest of us. I told our girls last night, I said, it depends how our effort is every night. We could be in the top 1 or 2 under them. We could also be towards the bottom. I think there's a big long jam there. I brought up, I know Kyle Davis very well. He's the new coach at Spencer. I think they're going to make a jump this year. His daughter's a really good player. Loyal's always really good. I think Owen's made a step from there. So I think it's really wide open after Neelsville. I appreciate that people think we're there. I think we have to prove that, though. I don't think that's a given.
What about your team now? What do you think is going to be the key for you guys to be successful this season?
I think there's 2 really big keys for us right now. I think we have to figure out who's going to score the ball for us. I think that's the biggest thing. I think we have some kids that are capable of doing that, but I don't think they've been marked. And when I say by marked, I don't think they've been the focus of the other team before. So I think they have to learn how to deal with that. And then I just believe being able to be physically strong and match up with some teams is going to be the thing that we're going to have to battle. I liked what I saw in our first half last night. I think we ran out of a little bit of gas because we're not real deep. I did think we met Auburndale's physicality last night, which I was worried about it. So I think we took a step there. Now we got to figure out how to do it for a whole 36 minutes.
You mentioned boys basketball. You coached for a number of years. How is that transitioning now into girls basketball? Is there some things that you're able to go or not be able to do?
You know, I
between the
think
two?
there are some differences, obviously. There's no doubt. I've done quite a bit at the youth level with girls, coaching a daughter coming up through. So I knew a little bit of what I was getting into there. What I would tell you is you have to approach them a little bit differently. And I don't think that's a bad thing. The first thing, I think they listen better. Just being honest, I think it's just going through that part of it. I think they do. I think they need somebody that they know they can trust. I think that's the biggest thing. And once you gain their trust, it's amazing what you can get out of them. And I think that's something we really work on. And we're still working on. We've got a coaching staff that helps do that. And as we go through, once they trust you, we can get just about anything out of them.
Gene?
Well, Coach, thanks for coming by. Columbus Dons girls basketball coach Eric Wilson joining us on our girls basketball preview program this evening. Coach, your next ball game is, I think, next Tuesday, isn't it?
Yep, next Tuesday we open up the Cloverbelt schedule with Spencer, so at home.
Might be nice to have a week break here to work on some things.
Yeah, the schedule's never quite the way you want it to be. You played the first Tuesday, we went almost 11 days without playing, and then we played 3 games in 5 days. So that's kind of the way it works, and it'll be nice to have some practice time and get ready going in. And we got Spencer next week in Neilsville, so there's some work to do to get ready.
All right, well, Coach, good luck this season. Thanks again for coming by.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the coverage from all of you guys for you guys doing this.
You're welcome.